Hi, I'm Linda Mihara, and in today's class I'm going to show you a wonderful model by John Montroll, his Stegosaurus. And this is from his book, Origami Dinosaurs For Beginners. And it's a great book if you wanted to move up from a beginner level and do some really cool dinosaurs. That book is great. We have that at Papertree, paper-tree.com, so you can check it out and order it that way. What you need for this class is a larger sheet of origami paper. I recommend a sheet that is, this one is 9 3/4 by 9 3/4. If you've got a 12-inch by 12-inch, that's great, but just use standard origami paper, nothing too thick. This is your standard that has white on the back, and I'm going to be folding from a 9 3/4 inch by 9 3/4 inch square. You'll also need a creasing tool, so something like a bone folder like this. Or if you don't have a bone folder like this, you can grab and use the back of a spoon. Or if you've got a Sharpie, you can use the side of the Sharpie, a nice round barrel pen, and you can use that as your creasing tool. So go ahead and grab those two things, and let's go ahead and get started. So I have my sheet of paper here, and we want to start with the color side face down. So let's flip the model over. We're going to fold both diagonals, so let's go ahead and do that. The best trick for this, your first fold is always the hardest. So what you want to do is, once you have it lined up, hold it in place, pull straight down the middle, and then go from the middle on out. And that way the paper doesn't shift on you. You have a nice, clean triangle. And let's follow with our creasing tool to make it super, super flat. Let's unfold that and fold the other diagonal. And line up the corners, hold it in place, start from the middle, and go all the way out like that. And let's unfold. Now we want to fold the four corners to the middle, and a real great technique is what I'm going to show you right now. Let's take one corner and fold it right up, line it up with the center, and make your crease. And then let's reinforce with the creasing tool. So the next step is to fold the opposite to that point. Let's rotate the paper and fold the other point and bring that in, and then follow with our creasing tool. Now we want to finish the other two. You will find that you have a nice even and with very little gaps in between, and the other side, and then we're just going to finish with the creasing tool all the way around like that. And let's give it a nice reinforcement with the creasing tool like this. So the next step is we're folding the four corners to the middle a second time. Now because you have a couple of layers, it's real easy for the other under layers to kind of slide out. So what you want to do is something called, like I like to call, pinch and fold. So you want to pinch these layers together and then roll the paper forward and line it up with your target, which is the center, and then make your crease. And let's follow with our creasing tool. And again, we want to do the same rule, fold the opposite one next. So I'm going to again pinch and roll the paper and fold. And follow with the creasing tool. And then do the final two. Fold that in, use the creasing tool, and the final point. And the creasing tool. Okay. So now that we have that, let's orient the model so it's pointing like that. Let's take the two bottom flaps and unfold them. So you see you have these fold lines here. We're going to use that as our guide for the next step. Let's take this edge and fold it to that crease line, starting from the middle and going right along the crease line. Make sure you don't go over the crease line. And make your crease and follow with our creasing tool. And the same thing for the other side. So it's this lower edge that we're going to bring to align with the folded edge, or the fold line rather. Starts at the center like this, and then reinforce with the creasing tool. Now we're going to take the bottom edges of the two top flaps, and we're going to fold this to meet the outer folded edge. So let's take this edge and bring it up till it meets the outside, make our crease, follow with our creasing tool, being mindful of the layers. So when you have something like this, just do one reinforcement on either side. That way you don't catch on here and tear the paper. Take the bottom edge here and fold this up like that, and then reinforce with the creasing tool. So this is what you should have at this point. Now we're going to take each of these points and fold it out, but we're not going to fold it to this corner. We're going to actually fold it just shy of that. We want to leave a little space, so it's going to look something like that. So you see I have a little tiny triangle there. That's what you want. You want a little distance from that corner, like you see here, and kind of coming down at an angle like this. And let's follow with our creasing tool. Again, you have two halves of that flap there. And let's duplicate that on the other side. So we want to go ahead and make sure we have that same distance in place. And fold that flap out so it should look like this. And let's go ahead and use our creasing tool. So your model should look like this. Let's take now each of these points, and we're just going to refold along those creases that we made on that one of the first few steps. So we're just going to take this, fold it up, and take this one and fold it up. And let's definitely reinforce with our creasing tool because we have a lot of layers here at the bottom. So this is what you should have. This. Now let's turn the model over to the other side, and you have a crease that goes down the middle here. We're going to use that as a guide for the next step. We're going to take this edge and bring it to meet the center. But when you do that, two things are going to come out from behind, and it's really kind of a cool maneuver. In order to prevent those from being folded, you want to start by grabbing this point here, and let's go ahead and bring it over to the center. You see this flap pops out, and then this tiny one pops out too. It'll go ahead and automatically pop out. Now you can go ahead and line everything up with the center, and then make your crease. Right, so it should look like this. And let's follow with a creasing tool. Now you've got a couple of different layers, so you can kind of work around the areas separately. Okay. Now we're going to take this edge and repeat that. So again, we want to grab it from the corner and bring it over. You see this one pops out, and now that small one pops up. And bring the entire edge to the center, and then fold. Now you got a lot of layers here, so sometimes you have to reach underneath and smooth that out like that before you actually flatten it. So this is what you should have. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that side. All right, so this is what you should have. Now the next step is a squash fold, and there's a couple of things that happen with the squash fold. You want to create a fold that comes along here. It starts from the center and goes out there. Okay. These two flaps are what we're going to fold down to make the squash fold. So what we want to do is slide your finger under this flap, and let's go ahead and start making this fold here with that flap. So see, you're pulling it down, and you're just pulling it straight down because you want to line up this edge here with this center edge here. So you want to open the pocket, bring that down first, like that, and then this top half is going to, this whole edge here is going to line up with the center. So let's grasp this and finish this bottom. See, we're just bringing that edge in to the center, and as you do, this pops out from behind. Let's go ahead and finish that fold and just kind of line up that whole edge with the center. So now you have this. So you see that there's an extra flap here that popped out like that. Now we're going to do the same thing for this side. So you want to reach inside, and let's open up this pocket here. Let's start pulling this point down to the center. And then we're going to continue to bring this over. So now this is going to start coming out. You see how that comes out from behind? And you're going to just pull this towards the center like that. And you might have to open up this pocket here in the corner and just flatten it. So you want it to be symmetrical. You want these to come to points down here. And you want the top to look like this. So this is what you should have. And let's go ahead and flatten everything with the creasing tool. So this is what you should have at this point. The next step is we're going to take and make another squash fold that comes across here, and you see these 2 points, you see these layers here. We want to actually create these into, make them into mountain folds as we do this fold here. Okay, so you're going to again reach inside this pocket, and you see these layers here. What you're going to do is let's pinch that so it comes to a point here, and then you see this whole edge. Now you want to bring that to the center. So let's bring this down and let's kind of roll that forward. So our target is the center crease here, and then you want to flatten it. So this is what it should look like. So the maneuver is you open the pocket. You can kind of help it by pushing here. Make sure this comes to a point down here. So you might have to just do that first, right? So you bring this down. This comes down to meet the center. So you can pull from this point. You see how I'm pulling? When you pull, that'll help you line this up with the center. And once it's lined up with the center, then go ahead and squash it and fold it like that. So this is what you should have. You should have these 2 points. This comes to a point up in here. You have these 2 points, and then this point here at the bottom. So this is the structure you should have right now. Now we're going to open up a layer that is underneath this layer here. So if you kind of open it up here, you see this? You're going to lift it open, and let's open it up by sliding our finger in all the way so it makes like a little cone like that. And then when we're going to close this back up, this will flatten like that. And the same thing for the other side. So we want to move this top layer over, find this layer here, open it up all the way by sliding your finger into the corner, and then squashing it down like that. It helps if when you squash it, start from the top and then go down. So this is what you should have right now. Let's turn the model over, and your model should look like this. You've got 4 points, 4 loose flaps that are there. We're going to create a fold that goes here. Now you have a crease line that's here, and that's not what we want to duplicate. We want to stop short of that because we need to make some shape for the head of the dinosaur. So what we want to do is let's take this flap. We do want to start the fold here, but we want to end the fold like this. So you see it doesn't come to the point. There's a little distance there. So it's going to give us a little blunt nose for our dinosaur. And duplicate that to the other side. So again, you're going to bring this in, and you want to match the distance on the other side here, which I'm going to kind of eyeball, and I pull this open a little bit. Oh, I'm going to pull it back a little bit. So this is what you should have. And let's use our reinforce with the creasing tool, make everything super flat. So that's what you should have here. Now we have 2 flaps down here, and what we want to do is take each one and fold it out as far as it'll go, which ends here and here. I'm going to take that and just peel it open right till it gets to the max, and then just go ahead and fold it like that. And the same for the other one. So peel that open till it gets to the max, and then let's go ahead and fold that. So this is what you should have. Now be mindful of these two flaps in here for in 2 steps. Okay, so just know that we have these 2 flaps that are actually going to be on the inside of the model. Before we do that, we want to take these 2 points and fold them out slightly. And this is also not going to start at this corner, but just shy of that. So we want to leave a little space, and it's going to come out like that. So you see there's a little space there. And let's follow with our creasing tool. Same thing for the other side, so let's go ahead and peel that open. See if I can duplicate that distance. That looks pretty good. Make your fold, and then follow with the creasing tool. So now your model should look like this. Now the next step is we're going to take this and we're going to make a valley fold right down the center. So let's take this and fold it in half. So it looks like this. And let's take our creasing tool and just give it a once over like that. What I'm going to do now is rotate the model. So let's rotate it so that you have the head, which is the blunt nose part here, and the tail on the left. We're going to take and reach inside. Remember I was telling you about those 2 points? If you open this up, you'll see the 2 points in here. Let's take 1 point. I'm going to take this one on the right. We want to lift it up without undoing the whole thing. And we're going to make an inside reverse fold with this. So that basically means right now it's a valley fold. We want to reverse the direction by, when you lift it up, you see how you can reverse the direction? That's what you want. So lift it up, swing it out somewhere in there. And once you have it in the place where you like it to be, which is kind of like between these 2 points, and then just go ahead and pinch that in place like this. We're going to do the same thing for the other point. So we want to open this up, reach inside, pull this flap up, reverse the direction like this, and you could actually pinch and pull it out like that. And when you get it to be where you want it to be, that looks pretty good for me. And then just go ahead and pinch everything. So this is what you should have when you refold that. This is a profile. So here's that backbone, that really cool profile there. Okay. Now let's go ahead and make the legs. So we're going to take this flap and we're just going to fold it down so that the top edge becomes vertical to the base. So like that. Give it a good pinch. Let's do the same thing for the back leg. Now we don't want to have it start all the way at this point, so just shy of that. So you're going to take this and you're just going to fold it down like that. That looks pretty good to me. And just go ahead and pinch that in place. We'll use a creasing tool after we do the other 2 legs. So now you have this. Let's turn it over to the other side. And let's fold these down. So again, you've got the other ones on the other side, so you could just match those. So you're folding it forward like that. And this final leg that comes down like this. And then let's go ahead and do the creasing tool. And by doing it on this side, you know, it pretty much does both sides at the same time, like that. Let's flip the model. So now the head is on the right side here. That's the blunt nose. We're going to do 2 inside reverse folds. Let's take this part here, and you see the edge of the triangle there. Let's take this and make a valley fold that comes up and it meets the corner of that triangle like this. Let's go ahead and use our creasing tool and reinforce that crease. Let's unfold that, and then what we're going to do now is from the top we can open up the 2 layers on that. Let's take the head, push this through, and we're going to reverse fold this. So we're pushing this through. It will reverse the direction here in the middle, and it should follow the pre-crease that you made down here and pinch it. So now it should look like this. So inside reverse fold, it looks like this from the front and that from the side. Now we have to do another inside reverse fold for the head. So here are your layers. You want to open up the layers here in the front, push this down right through the middle, and you see it starts to make the head here, and you could push it down as far as you want. I kind of do it right up to that point there, and once it's in place, then just go ahead and pinch that. So inside reverse fold the head. So this is what it'll look like. This is what it looks like from the top and from the side. And that is actually all it is for the model. And I kind of like to add a little bit of shape to the tail. So it's just a matter of curling it a little bit one way and curling it back the other way. So now it looks like this. And that is your Stegosaurus by John Montroll. I hope you enjoyed this class on the Stegosaurus by John Montroll. For more great videos, check out our YouTube channel, Paper Tree SF. Thanks for joining me, and happy folding.